Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Lisa Bonet, and you guys are locked into Bonet Media. Make sure you like this video, share out this live. If you guys are feeling the vibe, go ahead and subscribe. You guys, this is a live commentary channel, okay? This is strictly my opinion and my POV on the latest social media buzz. So let's go ahead and get into this. Now, if y'all have not heard, okay, there's an influencer. Her name is Ashlee Janae, and she was found unalived during her birthday trip to Tanzania. Okay. Now, her family is demanding answers. Now, she went out to Africa, well, specifically Tanzania, with her fiance, well, her boyfriend at the time, okay, to celebrate her 31st birthday. But while she was out there, her fiance, John McCann, proposed to her. All right. So you like just imagine that you're celebrating your birthday, you just got proposed to, so you're getting married, right? A man slips a ring on your finger. That has to be one of the happiest times, or supposed to be one of the happiest times of your life, right? Now, people are not buying this. The whole story that's coming out, some people are questioning this, questioning the official story. Now, there has been some details that's come out, some in TMZ we're going to get into since this has occurred. But it's just that for me, things aren't adding up, right? So let's go ahead and get into this. Now, Ashlee, of course, they went to Africa, Tanzania, for her 31st birthday. Now, she is Miami based. She's a Miami-based model. Right. She's a Miami-based model. So she's out of Miami, you guys. And they went on a luxury trip that she took with her boyfriend. Now, it turns out that the fiance, now people are side-eyeing him, okay? And his name is Joe McCann. Now, he's a founder of Asymmetric Financial and seems to be very wealthy. He seems to be a very wealthy man, okay? And from what I'm gathering, he works in the crypto world. Now, the authorities have determined that she was unalived by hanging, okay? And they've classified her death as when you take yourself out, right? Who I. However, her family and her close friends and the internet, which is us, have questions and strongly dispute this, right? The claims that she took her own life, right? It just doesn't seem, I just can't see that. Now, there is something that came out with, let's go over this article first, and then we'll get to TMZ and what they're saying. But people are also saying, and this is what I just read, because I kind of dug into this a little bit, and they're saying that they're also comparing this to like a tragic trend for Black women. Like a trend of Black women dating outside of their race, or dating a white man and ended up not coming back. Like, honestly, there were people that were online that were kind of like warning her, saying, girl, we better not see your Black ass on the news, but we hope you come back. Something like that, right? And it turns out that this is what happened. Now, let me go ahead and pull up this article for you guys so I can get you guys, so we can look into this. And I think her real last name is Robinson. So Ashlee Robinson, but she goes by Ashlee Janae. Let me make sure you guys can see this. And thank you guys so much for tapping into Bonet Media, y'all. Let me see, guys. Now, I do want to say that federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which does not infringe on the copyright under 17 USC 107. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into this, you guys. And let me bring this up for you. Now, I do remember a few other women, right? And we're going to get into that, but let me go ahead and pull this up for y'all so you guys can see what's going on. There has been an update on TMZ too. So we'll make sure that we catch that update. But hold on, y'all. Okay. Now we'll get a little more details when I bring up this story, y'all. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into this, you guys. All right. Okay, so this is the 31-year-old. Let's go ahead and get into this article. Ashlee Janae's family is raising suspicions about her unaliving. The family revealed that there is an active investigation into the unaliving of the 31-year-old influencer, real name Ashlee Robinson, who unalived shockingly at a resort in Tanzania. And I was reading, and they were saying this is all just allegedly. This is all just what was on the internet. Okay, I'm not saying that this is true or anything like that. That she was found other than where they said that she was found. Now, let me see. Let's get into. Let's see. Hold on, y'all. Okay, so Ashlee's family. Now, in a statement that was dated Sunday, April 12th, the family wrote, "Nothing about this loss feels real. One moment she was celebrating love and life in truly Ashlee fashion, and the next she was gone. The suddenness, the unanswered questions, and the distance from home have made this tragedy even more overwhelming for our family. At this time, an active investigation is underway, and the circumstances surrounding Ashlee's suspicious unaliving. Although we have many questions, we are placing our trust in the officials in the Zanzibar and are working closely with them as we seek clarity and answers." A nice way of putting it is we need answers. Okay. Ashlee Janae had flown to Zanzibar to celebrate her birthday with her fiance, Joe McCann. She reportedly was found unresponsive in her room and was later pronounced unalived in a hospital. How does that happen? That don't even go together. You're celebrating your birthday. You just got engaged, right? Now, during Ashlee's trip to Zanzibar, her fiance, Joe McCann, proposed to her. A video shared by the late social media influencer shows McCann going down on one knee and proposing to Janae as she walked with a lioness. She wrote in the caption, "Still taking this in somewhere in Africa." Okay? Y'all. Now, a friend, Savannah Britt, a Miami based influencer, expressed concerns about the lack of information about the case. "I find it very alarming that an American woman unalived abroad days ago, and prior to my initial tweet, nothing had been said from the State Department, Tanzanian government, or local media," she wrote. Okay. So those are what is going on, y'all. Now, I have to try to make sense of this because even though we're going to get into this, it still don't make no sense to me. There is funny business and foul play going on. I don't know who, what, where, why, when, or how. I don't know if it's classic. I don't know if there's more to it. but I know that something like it's not what they're saying it is, or that we're suspecting that it is, right? No way, no way, no way. Now this is an ongoing investigation, you guys. Now, I don't know what you guys are thinking about that, but there are consistencies, right? And basically, they're bringing about concern. Another thing allegedly they're saying that people are talking about is that Joe waited for 2 days before notifying authorities or even contacting Ashley's family. Now I don't know what about how much of that is true or not. And everything I'm saying here is allegedly, okay? Everything I'm saying is allegedly, unless I read it from an article or whatever, okay? And even then, it's allegedly shit. But some people, yeah, I don't know, y'all. But do you think that, like, because they said that she had, wait a minute, let's go to TMZ so we can get the details of it before we get into it, because I'm just telling y'all, let me see, hold on. Let's just go here, y'all, because I think this story has a little more detail. They're even questioning, like, where she was discovered, right? As of today, though, the Tanzania authorities are still investigating, and it's not known if the fiance has been detained or even questioned at this point. Let's see if we can get some of that information. And of course, we're still waiting on like the toxicology report, or you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure they're going to do an autopsy, right? Yet there were so many circumstances around her unaliving that it's really like cloudy, and we have questions. We like honestly have questions, right? Hold on, you guys. Let me go ahead and bring up the TMZ article. That'll bring a little more light, shed a little more light on what we're talking about. Let me bring this up. Where is it? Let me go back, you guys, because I think I want to go back to the first story that's on here. Yeah, y'all, this is really, really like weird. It is. It's really weird. Um, and I'm basically just standing behind the family because the family want more questions. I'm just leaning over their shoulder, like, so do I. Like, more. Like, we need to know. Like, this is so tragic when you really think about it. A 31-year-old who is no longer with us anymore, and we don't know why. Supposedly supposed to be, but that's what we're going to get into, because I can already look and say, well, what was going on behind closed doors? What was going on behind the scenes? Because most people are in toxic relationships. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. So my mind automatically is going to go there. And the fact that we always want to put our best foot forward, right? We want to show the good things and the good times, like when we're in a relationship or not. That's why I think there's a different reality from social media and reality, right? When you put your phone down and you're standing in your living room, that reality compared to when it's on social media, those are two different realities, right? All right, so let's get into this, you guys. Hopefully, it'll have a little more detail. Let me see. Let me see if it has a little more detail, y'all. What the hell? Let me see, guys. Is this still okay? Hold on, y'all. this TMZ right here? Am I tripping? Wait a minute. Hold on, y'all. I will be in the chat, guys. Thank you so much for tapping in. Let me bring this up because I'm tripping. All right. So let's bring up this TMZ, y'all. All right. Now, this says, and I'm not lying, people are saying that this is a trend, like a tragic trend that we're seeing of Black women not coming back, losing their lives. All right, so this says family speaks out on her suspicious passing. When was this? April 12th of 2026. Lifestyle influencer Ashlee Janae, unalive during a trip to Tanzania earlier this month. Let me see. She was celebrating her 31st birthday on April 5th with a dream stay at a luxury villa at Zuri, Zanzibar with her fiance, Joe McCann. But just days later, that dream turned into our family's worst nightmare. They wrote Ashlee was found unconscious in her villa and was rushed to a local hospital where her unalivement was confirmed hours later. Let me see. We kind of went over that already. Okay, so here she is, y'all. 4-4. That's not even like a week ago. Wow. Of course, on her birthday, April 5th, it says, Happy birthday, Ashlee. Her last post is from April 5th and appears to show her feeding a giraffe while the phrase HBD, Ashlee, is spelled out in red and white rose petals at her feet. She captioned the post, Chapter 31, and I'm exactly where I need to be. So she was definitely supposed to be one of the happiest times of her life. Okay? One of the happiest times of her life. One of the happiest times of her life, y'all. Let me show y'all. Let me see what you guys are saying in the comments. Y'all, this is so sad, but it's scary. And I always think about the relationship. I always think about DB. That's just my go-to. Because I know like what's going on. Like sometimes what's going on behind closed doors, it's not what it seems that we're watching. You know what I'm saying? And that seems to be the case here. That seems to be the case here. Let me go ahead and pull this up for y'all because I wanted to show you guys this video. And why I always have that go-to where I go to domestic violence or DB rather. Sorry about that. Let me say that. But DB. You know what I'm saying? I always think like how was their relationship behind closed doors? Because it's never like it is portrayed, like, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying everybody's in this situation, but we come to find out that she may very well have been in that situation. Let me show you guys this video. She may very well have been in that situation which makes this all so much scary, right? It's not weird at all. It's not weird at all. They just need to continue this investigation so they can, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm, no, mm-mm, no, no. Hold on, y'all. Let me bring this up. And then I'm thinking, say you did take it there. Somebody who was celebrating their 31st birthday and just got engaged to do something like that. But y'all, like I
What
said,
looked like a love
I honestly
story
don't believe it.
would take a tragic and weird
Hold
turn.
on, hold on, y'all.
But before we get into why, let's take a trip into her life. Since she
Okay, let me let you know where we are. Treacherous Crimes. All right, this is where I'm getting that video from on YouTube. Make sure you make your way on over there. If you guys want to see this video uninterrupted in its totality after the stream, okay?
Ashlee Janae was a 31-year-old influencer from Philadelphia who moved to Miami to chase her modeling career. Since she was young, Ashlee always had dreams of becoming a model. But growing up, people would constantly discourage her because of her size and her height. She even auditioned for Barbizon, a well-known modeling and acting program, and ended up getting criticized and denied. For a lot of people, that would have been enough to give up, but not her. Ashlee didn't let that stop her. As she got older, she stayed focused, worked on herself, got in shape, and kept chasing her dream no matter what people had to say. And eventually, it paid off. Not only did she break into the modeling industry, she actually started making a name for herself. She became a popular model and even got into the world of video vixens, appearing in multiple music videos for major artists like Drake, the Migos, French Montana, Future, and more.
How y'all doing? You know, we keeping it organic. Me and my little chocolate Easter bunny. Babe, stop playing. Babe, you know I'm sensitive, babe. We about to get in a lick. This her car. She probably she just came for to pick me up.
Something like, not too crazy.
She from Philly, so you know she crazy, she toxic.
Ashlee was self-made, already living a lavish lifestyle through her own hard work. She was just a girl coming out of Philly, where it felt like the odds were stacked against her, but she never let that define her. She came a long way. She created a life for herself that she once only dreamed about, and she was finally living.
Girl, what happened to this woman? What happened to Ashlee? It's never just a go-to, right? It's just crazy, y'all. Like I said, it is an ongoing investigation, but I'm not going to believe that she did this on her own. I'm just not going to believe that. Let me see. You know, when I think about it, I don't really know nobody that's gonna hang that. Yeah, that's what they're insinuating. And you would have to think about like where, you know what I'm saying? Like, how would that happen? It's easy enough to just say it, but how would that happen? How would that be possible? Off top. That's what I can't get past. Like, how would she do that? You just gonna say it and we just supposed to believe like that's just it? I don't know, y'all. Now, like I said, John McCann was supposed to be a wealthy man. Now, how long they was together, I don't know. I'm just finding out about Ashlee. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know about her other than that. So I don't know exactly, but you guys saw her in the she was a video vixen. She was in a lot of hip hop videos, more than a handful, right? We saw her with Drake. We saw her with Kevin Gates. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know how long she was with this man. I don't know. Here's a little bit on him though.
Joe McCann,
Hey guys, it's Joe.
who is known to be successful in the crypto and finance world.
This guy is a finance expert who runs the best performing hedge fund in the world over the last year and generated millions in crypto. So I asked him, what's wrong with the get rich quick stories we keep seeing? And here's what he said.
People want the easy button, so they search the internet and go, how do I become a crypto trader? That's awesome, but that's not actually going to make you a really good trader.
And the two of them were posting together, traveling together. And from what people could see, everything looked healthy. But a lot of people in her comments were trying to warn her, telling her to be careful. One comment even told her to get away from him immediately, warning her that he might hurt her, only because they were speaking from patterns they've seen before.
That's the sound of an American oil company hard at work. Want to be a part of it?
Cases where a lot of interracial relationships involving a white man and black women usually ends in tragedy. But no matter what people said,
Now, y'all, did y'all see that part right there where they were talking about it was kind of like a trend? This is what I was talking about. Let me play that part over for you because it played kind of fast. I want you guys to pay attention to that small clip at the end.
warning her that he might hurt her, only because they were speaking from patterns they've seen before. Cases where a lot of interracial relationships involving a white man and black women usually ends in tragedy.
Okay, so you see that right there? This is what they're talking about when they say they see a pattern where these women are going out, dating outside of their race, and going to a resort, going to another country and not coming back. Dating outside of their race and not coming back. Dating a white man. Because we see 3 women right here. And this is not a long time ago either. This is not a long time ago. And this is what I was talking about a tragic trend for Black women. Let's get into this, you guys. I want to get into Sade Robinson because although different scenarios, it still shows a pattern, right? Now, I wouldn't say trend that kind of softens the blow, but I will say pattern, right? Hold on, y'all. Let me go ahead and bring this up for you. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat as well. Hold on. Let me see. What's up, Takesha? Thank you so much, Cancer. All right, so let me go ahead and pull this up for y'all. You guys smash that like button, share out this live. Let me see. Y'all, let's go ahead and get into this. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Now, let's go ahead and get into Sade Robinson. And this happened just in August of last year. Okay? August of last year is it when this incident occurred. Now, if you guys don't know who Sade Robinson is, she was a 19-year-old that was found dismembered, okay, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hold on. Let me bring this up so you guys can see this too as well. So I can give you guys the details of it, all right? Because I'd hate to be giving you guys, I want to give you guys accurate information. All right. What's up, Takesha? Shout out to you. You know, Liveder, he don't really like blacks. He's against black. Yeah. And I know people are like, how is that? It's possible. Y'all don't remember Courtney Clenny? The details of that will scare you. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this, you guys. On August 1st, 2025, a 35-year-old Maxwell Anderson was sentenced to life in prison without possibility of parole for the red rum and dismemberment of 19-year-old Sade Robinson. While the crime occurred in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Robinson was a Vicksburg, Mississippi native, okay? Now, did we get into... Now, the incident is Robinson's a college student disappeared on April 1st, 2024 after going on the first date with Anderson. Prosecutors argued that Anderson unalived and dismembered her at his home before disposing of her remains at various locations, including a park and a beach. On June 6, 2025, a jury found Anderson guilty of first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, arson, and hiding a corpse. The jury deliberated for less than 30 minutes. Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Laura Crivello opposed the maximum sentence of life in prison without parole, describing the crime as heinous. Additionally, Anderson was ordered to pay more than $54,000 in restitution to the Robinson family. The case gained significant attention as an example of the disproportionate violence faced by Black women and girls. Robinson's mother, Sheena Scarborough, called for the demon to be returned to HELL during her emotional victim impact statement. So you guys, this happened in 2024. Okay? And he was found guilty and sentenced August of last year. They also mentioned in this article the pattern, disproportionate violence against Black women and girls. Right? So this is why I wanted to bring this up. Let's see, y'all. Let me go ahead and bring this. I think it's already okay. You guys can see it. This is the man that did this to this 19-year-old woman, young woman. Now, he was found guilty, okay? Justice was served, but real justice. Not only did he unalive her, but he cut her up. So y'all know y'all caught that, right? They might hate you. And I don't care if they're black, white, red, it don't matter. They might hate you. Always keep that in mind. That's why it's good to vet who you gonna lay with. But there's different reasons why people go out and meet other people. You know what I'm saying? Because you may be making a weed run or something. You know what I'm saying? Most people would hook up just like as a hookup, but you might be going out to coffee. You might, you know what I'm saying? Like, why was she linking with him? And spread her parts around. Do you know what that took to do that? That is so demonic. That is so sad. And I want to say rest in peace to this young woman, and positive vibes and condolences going out to her family and anyone who's affected by the loss of her life. First of all, I do want to say that. Now, why were they hooking up? Let me see. I'm trying to look and see if I can find that. Why were they linking up in the first place? I don't see it. So it's not clear on if they were dating, at least from what I can see. I don't know, y'all, but let me go ahead and bring this up because, like I said, August of last year, he was sentenced. And I wanted to show you a little bit of that because I can't even imagine what happened. And for somebody to lose their life like that, that is so tragic and sad. But just imagine what kind of person it took to do that. There's it. Like, that's just like interracial gone wrong. I don't know. Just like I don't know any black woman that would, you know what I'm saying? Just go unalive herself just in this manner. No. And I'm talking about Ashlee. Like, it just really, all this really raises red flags, right? Hold on, y'all. Let me take this down. So y'all can see. Now I have a quick clip of this, and let me go ahead and see where this is. Because this man got sentenced for this heinous crime. And this is just another example of a Black woman losing her life so tragically. Let me see, y'all. Okay. His name is Maxwell Anderson. And do you know he had the nerve to say that he wasn't guilty? Do you know this man? He look as crazy as they come, girl. I don't know what was she meeting him for? What? Why were you going to meet this man? Hold on, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into this video, you guys. And listen to what this man has to say. And I want you to listen to a little bit of what the judge had to say. Okay, it's got, wait a minute, y'all. Commercial won't come on. Okay. Let me bring this up so you guys can see.
Thank you, Judge. As you noted at the beginning, we filed much of our remarks in writing so that the court would have a clear picture of what we were asking for in this case. I know that there's no way to put a number sometimes on the loss of life. It's a very hard task that the court has whenever being in homicide court, you're confronted with homicide cases on a fairly regular basis. And by putting a number of 25 years of parole eligibility, we do not make any claim that we know the magic number. What I would observe is, in terms of that recommendation, is this. When you set, first of all, the sentence in this case is a mandatory life sentence. The jury convicted him. That's required. One way or the other, whether he's granted the opportunity to be, and I use the word parole, obviously we understand that it means extended supervision. It's often used interchangeably, but we're referring to some future hope that Mr. Anderson would have the opportunity to be released from custody. And the point of that is that he will be supervised by the Department of Corrections for the rest of his life. No need for some future release. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Anderson, what would you like to say?
I would like to start by saying that from the bottom of my heart, my deepest and most sincere condolences go out to Sade's family, as well as everyone else affected by this tragedy. That being said, Your Honor, I took this to trial without ever once trying to make a plea deal of any kind because I did not commit these crimes. And so I plan to appeal my convictions while I hope and pray that further investigations not only prove my innocence, but find and deliver true justice.
Anything else you wish to say?
No, ma'am.
This man don't even think he's guilty. He doesn't even think he is guilty. This man is insane, and I don't know what business she had with this man at 19 years old. I don't know what linked them together. Okay? But this man looked crazy, in my opinion. Now the judge is going to sentence him, you guys. He did get sentenced to life. It's just the fact that he is talking about he's not guilty. That takes a real crackpot, right?
Ability. It sounds like he lied to law enforcement. He's asked, have you ever been involved in mental health treatment? Have you ever been in a mental health facility? Have you ever received treatment? He responds in the negative. But then we have the mother indicating that he was in an outpatient at Rogers. He indicates that he never made a suicidal attempt or had an ideology of said. But then we read about in the Navy how he was dismissed from the Navy due to a medical release, which appears to be related to the suicidal attempt in trying to hang himself. I think that it shows the impact that this had on the community. That took time and effort and thought, and I think it put together a lot of what the community felt. So going back to what I need to look at. In formulating a proper sentence, I need to look at the character of the defendant. I need to look at the severity of the offense. To take away a child is horrific. You wouldn't wish that on anybody. To have a child not outlive the parents is a horrible thing. But not only did you extinguish her life, but you hid it, and you hid her body to be found. And I can only imagine every time a news report, every time something clicked that another body part was found, how it had to just re-victimize this family, how it had to just be like another shot to their soul. I can't imagine how horrific that had to be. And yet, I wonder which was worse, the not knowing in those first days where she was, Thank you. We'll be setting restitution off to be determined at a later date. Relative to this matter, I have considered the seriousness of the offense. I have weighed your character, and as I've indicated, I find it wanting. I've also reflected on the needs of society, and are you a good risk? And sadly, you're not. As to my sentence, relative to the nature of the offense, you are not eligible for challenge incarceration. You're clearly not eligible for any substance abuse programming. Restitution will be determined at a later date. You do need to submit a biological specimen to the state crime lab and pay the surcharge thereof. You do have the right to appeal. And if indigent, you have the right to the assistance of the public defender. What you need to understand is that a notice of intent to pursue post-conviction relief must be filed in the trial court within 20 days after sentencing for your rights to be preserved. You have been convicted of a felony. You may never possess a firearm. If you do, you're looking at 10 years of imprisonment, a $25,000 fine, or both. You may not possess body armor at any time in the future. If you do, you'll be subject to 15 years of imprisonment, a $50,000 fine, or both. You cannot vote in any election. I'm going to waive all non-mandatory fees, costs, and assessments. I'm ultimately going to want payment for restitution first and foremost. So we're going to determine that on a later date. But due to that, I'm not imposing any fine. The fees, costs, and assessments will be payable during your term of during your term of confinement at a rate to be determined by the DOC. Pretrial incarceration credit.
I'll get that information to you.
Okay. So relative to
Yeah. Crazy, huh? Crazy. Y'all, we gotta start knowing who we are with, who we land with, who we kicking it with, who we fraternizing with, who we having coffee with, who we linking up with. You know? Now, when I was watching that clip, when we were talking about Ashlee, there was another woman that was on there. Okay. Her name was Ashlee Maynard. Let me pull this up for y'all so y'all can see. And like I said, they were talking about a pattern. That Black women is going out here and not coming back. And we know that there's been disproportionate crimes against Black women and Black girls, right? I don't think that's any surprise, but to see these so close in time too. And like I said, I just kind of like jumped on the bandwagon, just like a lot of us. But one thing I can say is that what I noticed is that people put on their best foot forward and trying to make their relationship look like it's so, squeaky clean. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, y'all. Let me bring this up so you guys can see. Now, so this is what happened to her, guys. This is what happened to this woman. Now, like I said, when it comes to, like, as far as this is concerned, I'm not understanding, right? I would really like to know why they were linking up in the first place, right? Because when you look at these men and then you look at these women, it's like, girl, why was you meeting him anywhere, girl? I wouldn't even want to see him. Damn, a dark alley. I wouldn't want to see him in a well lit auditorium, right? So I'm like, why were they hooking up? Not that it mattered, like I'm holding it against them or nothing. But we have to all put ourselves in that situation, and we do be hooking up with strangers, no matter if it's romantically, if it's just hook up, if we just going in for coffee, we may be networking with each other, you know what I'm saying, and end up intimate or end up being friends or end up hanging out, and you could be hanging out with a mass murderer. You could be hanging out with a serial killer and you don't even know. Next thing you know, you calling yourself in love with this. Because honestly, y'all, but like when I think about Ashlee, let me show you guys what TMZ is saying, okay? Hold on, y'all. Let me show y'all what TMZ is saying, you guys. What's up, y'all? What is up, Queen Tay? Did I take down? I think I did, y'all. Okay, hold on. Hold on, y'all. Let me go ahead and bring this up. Let me bring up this video. Because this is what I'm thinking, y'all. Something was going on with them as far as, and not even a lover's quarrel. Like, I think this was ongoing. I think the relationship was toxic. And it's just something that they didn't show that part, right? Hold on. And y'all, they got into it before she was unalived. Okay? They got into it. So much so that they had to be in separate rooms. Let me pull this up so you guys can see this. Let me know where you guys are tapping in from. It's currently 7:53 here in Cali, y'all. 7:53 p.m. Let me know what time it is and where you're tapping in from. All right, let me bring this video up for you guys. And this what makes me think something really like that he definitely probably has something to do with this, right?
Keep watching. If your recent car.
I know we got to let it all play out, yada, 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 boogada, boogada, but hey. This is This is not good. It's not good at all. And I believe definitely he has something to do with it. Because it's a classic case. Why is it not? Why is it not a classic case, right? All right, let's go ahead and get into this, you guys. Hold on. Let's learn a little bit more about him, and then I want to let you guys know that they got into it, y'all.
Started questioning everything. How does someone go from celebrating one of the happiest moments of their life to being found dead just days later? Why are the details so unclear? And on top of that, people also pointed out that her fiancé's behavior after her death raised questions. There are reports that he continued posting online and even deleted certain accounts, which made people feel like something wasn't right. Joe went back to business, like nothing didn't happen, like he didn't just lose his fiancée or the love of his life. He's a very wealthy man, and there's not much publicly known about his background or who he really is as a person. But one thing that stands out is his relationship with a woman nearly 30 years younger than him. And for many people, that raises questions. With power and wealth, people like this often walk away without real accountability. That's why it's important this story gets out there.
And I agree with that. It's time. It's important that this story gets out there. And I know that the family is going to stay on their neck. Now, you know, every time it happens in another country, they don't be like it be in America. You know what I'm saying? Like, you remember Shanquilla Robinson. Now, I know this has not, like, the situation is not, but when you think about it, it is because of what she went through. We caught some of it on camera, and still nobody has been held accountable. Nobody's been arrested, right? There hasn't been a case. Nobody, like, those people basically got away with red rum. And I think that if that would have taken place in America and not Mexico, in America and not Tanzania, which is, I mean, you know, the continent of Africa, but the laws and attitudes are different. That's all I'm saying. I think it would have came out, Shanquilla Robinson's case would have came out different if it had been on American soil. But yeah, they had to be separated, y'all. Let's get into this because I think this is where we're going to get our answer from. This is where the answer lies because everything that glitter ain't gold. Everything that glitters not gold. The question is how long? How long has he been, or how long have they been in a toxic relationship? It is what it is. Let me let you guys hear this and then we'll talk. Hold on.
Comments. Hold on, wait. There's an update.
There is an update in the case of Ashlee Janae. It's not an update that I expected to hear, and I still don't know if I believe this, but I'm going to keep you guys in the loop of everything that I find out. As of today, April 13th, 2026, Zanzibar police confirmed in death of U.S. influencer Ashlee Janae. Now, I was searching the internet trying to figure out how to find news happening in Zanzibar when I found a news outlet that is on Instagram. The statement says the influencer died while on holiday with her fiance in Tanzania, and initial reports have suggested foul play. However, North Unguja Police Commander Benedict Mapijira told the Citizen after news of Ashlee Janae went viral across global social media platforms that they have ruled out foul play in her death. He said the incident occurred on Thursday, April 9th, 2026, which is after her birthday, April 5th, when the woman is said to have hanged herself using a piece of cloth from her dress inside a wardrobe. The regional police chief said that the couple had been staying together, but later had a disagreement, prompting hotel management to separate them into different rooms. They don't tell you what the disagreement is about. The police commander said that the matter was reported at the Nungwi police station after hotel staff raised an alarm that the guest was suspected to be. She was still alive when the matter was reported to the police. She was rescued and taken to the hospital. However, she passed away the following day, Friday, April 10th. He said the body remains in Tanzania pending further examination before arrangements for repatriation to the U.S. are made. And if that doesn't make you go, I don't know what will.
Now, y'all heard that. Let's go back to this part. Hold on, y'all. Let's go back to the part where she has this in the background, because look, if y'all see right here, it says, he said the incident occurred on Thursday, April 9th, 2026, when the woman is said to have hanged herself using a piece of cloth from her dress inside a wardrobe. That right there don't make no sense, because a piece of her clothing, like, I just don't understand from where she was how that possibly could be possible. Like, I don't believe it. And even if, like, I don't believe that she was in that mind frame. I don't believe that she would do that. And I don't believe it would be that easy. Right? You know what it takes to do something like that? I don't know. And they always seem to say that seems to be their go-to. It's just so fishy. It's something that's missing. And I don't think anybody should get away with anything, right? We just have to wait to see. Like, I understand it's under investigation, but listen to this part. It says that the regional police chief said the couple had been staying together, but later had a disagreement, prompting hotel management to separate them into different rooms. So something went down between them where they could not even stay in the same room together. That don't just happen overnight. That's not just a lover's quarrel. I hate to bust y'all bubble. That's not this. The fiance, as it was reported, had disagreements. And later, hotel management decided to separate their rooms. So the woman had her own room and the man had his own room, he said. The police commander said the matter was reported at Nungwi police station after hotel staff raised an alarm that a guest was suspected to be Uaio. She was still alive when the matter was reported to the police. She was rescued and taken to the hospital, where she later passed away the following day, Friday, April the 10th. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all, that is a domestic violence situation right there. So much so that they had to be separated in separate rooms. That's not the first time that's happened. That's not. That's a pattern of toxic behavior. That's a toxic relationship. That's a dysfunctional relationship. That's an abuse relationship. Period. I see the signs. Red flags don't wave. Right? Yeah, y'all. They had to be separated. They had to be separated. What would prompt strangers, which is the hotel, to step in? That means they had to be loud. Somebody probably was, you know what I'm saying? Show signs of some type of altercation, some type of physical injuries. And what they heard or what they saw prompted them to have to separate them into two separate rooms. What would you know that what would that would take to have the hotel staff step into your business? Think about it. Think about it. For them to be like, you going to have to go in that room. You going to have to go, no. You going to have to go in that room. What would make them say that? Some serious shit. Don't drink the cool. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. because this is reality and reality. When reality and reality clash, what do I mean by that? Real reality and social media reality. Right? Everything is so perfect when you look at the Instagram and the TikTok and the Twitter but right, and remember, that's just a glimpse. That's just a moment. I mean, how long is the Instagram? Sometimes it's a photo, so, right? So what is going on? Are you guys really getting along like you look like you are on Instagram? Are you really that happy? What is going on? And you know what this reminds me of? Not that it's the same, but it kind of is. You guys remember Courtney Clenny, the OF model, the OnlyFans model? Hold on, y'all. Let me take this down. Let me see what you guys are saying in the comments. No, y'all. Courtney Clenny, she dated a black man. Okay. And in April of 2022, and her court case is coming up, as a matter of fact, this month. But in 2022, she was also a Miami-based influencer. Okay. But she became like a popular OF model. And she unalived her boyfriend by stabbing him to death. And they had that kind of rocky, toxic fueled relationship that I'm referring to. What could be going on behind closed doors? This was a toxic fueled relationship that went too far. And do you know that in that relationship, she was calling him racial slurs? You can date a racist, you know that? I don't know how that works out, but she was using racial slurs. Now, is that about this? No, it's about their toxic relationship and what was caught on camera, right? That we would have probably never, ever, ever, ever knew if those cameras weren't there. Let me show you guys what I mean and why this reminds me of Courtney Clenny. Now, she went up for bond. She was denied bond. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Hold on. Thank you guys for tapping in. I appreciate you. He said, hey, Bonet, although I never comment, I always enjoy your lives. Thank you, girl. Hey, Bonet, what is up? I'm so glad you're speaking on this tragic story. I pray the truth comes out because the family deserves to know what really happened to her. Yeah. So many times we have unanswered questions and things do not get solved. Y'all, so it's just important to speak up on this. What is up, Takesha? What is up, Queen Tay? What's up? What's up? Thank you guys for tapping in, chilling, listening. Okay. Yeah, he looks like he crazy. They showed her text messages. Exactly. He looked demonic. I'm like, girl. He said sad. Is he in jail? Who? For Ashlee? No. That man is not in jail. Like I said, I don't even know if he got questioned. I don't even know if he got questioned, let alone is he in jail, right? Almost 30 years older, yeah. So you know that was like, come on now. Come on now. We've seen that all before, right? Not saying they weren't in love. I can't say whether they were or weren't. But obviously something was going on, okay? And anyway, what's love got to do with it? What's love got to do with it? Hold on, y'all, so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. What does love got to do with it, y'all? Uh-oh. Nothing. Nothing. God, love has absolutely nothing to do with it. Nothing. Okay, hold on, y'all. Yeah, I want to show y'all how they was fighting. And this is what kind of activity, this what kind of fighting and arguing that would be going on that would make a hotel staff say, girl, you got to go in this room, and sir, you got to go in this room because we can't be responsible. We can't leave y'all. And then she ends up unalive. What was that? What? Come on now, y'all. What was that man doing? What? You are not going to convince me that in that short amount of time she took a piece of her clothing and took herself out of here. That don't even make no sense. Okay, hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. That don't even make no sense, y'all. Yeah, so they had a disagreement. That's putting it lightly. It was more than a disagreement. If you guys had to separate them like that, it was more than a disagreement. Okay, hold on, y'all. Let me bring up this video. Now, I'm going to show you the relationship that I'm talking about. That often happens, y'all. Hold on. Let me see. And the question I would like to know is how long they've been together. You know? That's what I would like to know. Wait a minute. How is this up here like this? Oh, it got dark. Okay, I'm like, what? Wait a minute. Hold on, y'all. I'm tripping. Oh, wait a minute. I'm playing my own video. I'm tripping. Hold on, y'all. Let me push the right video so I can show y'all.
Tonight, we are seeing new video of the rocky relationship between OnlyFans model Courtney Clenny and her boyfriend just months before she killed him.
Clenny claims she stabbed Christian Obumseli in self-defense back in 2022. CBS News Miami's Nakaya Carrero has more of the footage and what both sides are saying tonight.
We're here in Edgewater where Christian Obumseli died, and we have a warning. The video you are about to see shows a graphic depiction of domestic violence and may be hard for some viewers to watch. The footage was released by the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office as part of a mound of new evidence in this case.
I was sober for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And now why am I not sober? Because of you.
New video shows OnlyFans model Courtney Clenny hitting then-boyfriend Christian Obumseli over a dozen times while on a trip in Aspen, Colorado. This is one of more than 100 pieces of evidence released to the Obumseli family civil attorney as part of the investigation.
In that video, you can see Courtney acting erratically. You can see her hitting Christian multiple times, which unfortunately is consistent with her behavior throughout this entire case.
Flirting with like 3 girls.
What 3 girls? What 3 girls? You?
Well, maybe it doesn't matter.
In the video, Clenny accuses Obumseli of cheating on her, which he denies. His family's attorney says the behavior Courtney exhibited in this video was a disturbing pattern.
You know, unfortunately, we see throughout these videos, we see throughout the phone calls and the communications that Courtney had some insecurities, as most women do, and that's no faulting to her.
Clenny's attorney said in a statement to CBS News Miami, this video is an example of the toxic relationship between Obumseli and Courtney Clenny. Evidence exists that Obumseli physically abused Courtney on prior occasions and on April 3rd, 2022. Courtney was forced to defend herself from Obumseli's physical attack. In court, Clenny's attorneys have argued she killed her boyfriend in self-defense during a domestic dispute. At the heart of the criminal and civil case, who was the aggressor in their relationship?
Domestic violence can happen against a man, and it can happen against a larger man. It does happen, and men are victims, and Christian was a victim.
The social media influencer is charged with second-degree murder. A hearing in her criminal case is set for this Friday. In Miami, Nakaya Carrero, CBS News.
All right. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear me. All right. Green hearts in the chat. Now I gotta check my sound. I didn't even know you guys couldn't hear me. Did you guys hear the video?
In the video, Clenny accuses Obumseli of cheating on her, which he denies. His family's attorney says the behavior Courtney exhibited in this video was a disturbing pattern.
Unfortunately, we see throughout these videos, we see throughout the phone calls and the communications that Courtney had some insecurities, as most women do, and that's no faulting to her.
Clenny's attorney said in a statement to CBS News Miami, this video is an
Okay, hold on, y'all.
example of the toxic relationship behavior Courtney exhibited in this video was a disturbing pattern.
Unfortunately, we see throughout these videos, we see throughout the phone calls and the communications that Courtney had some insecurities, as most women do, and that's no faulting to her.
Clenny's attorney said in a statement to CBS News Miami, this video is an example of the toxic relationship between Obumseli and Courtney Clenny. Evidence exists that Obumseli physically abused Courtney on prior occasions and on April 3rd, 2022. Courtney was forced to defend herself from Obumseli's physical attack. In court, Clenny's attorneys have argued she killed her boyfriend in self-defense during a domestic dispute. At the heart of the criminal and civil case, who was the aggressor in their relationship?
Domestic violence can happen against a man, and it can happen against a larger man. It does happen, and men are victims, and Christian was a victim.
The social media influencer is charged with second-degree murder. A hearing in her criminal case is set for this Friday. In Miami, Nakaya Carrero, CBS News, Miami.
If you are in an abusive situation, there is help available.
All right, y'all. This is what would cause the hotel staff to want to separate a couple. This type of behavior. Now, I'm not saying this went on, but this reminds me of that because why? Why would they have to separate them and put them in two separate rooms? Why would they feel that they had to do that? Unless something really, really toxic and bad was going on behind closed doors that we didn't know, that we weren't privy to. They had to feel like somebody may have been in danger, right? Of either them hurting them each other or one hurting the other. So much so that they was like, we got to put y'all in separate rooms. And this happened right before her being found unalived. Now, I don't know how long after this happened that he dialed 911. He called the family. I don't know. Some people are saying that he waited hours. But I'm not buying this story about Ashlee Janae on her birthday trip, also getting engaged. But if something like this was going on and the hotel staff felt that they had to separate them, it would make sense because like they weren't locking elbows and getting along here, guys. All right. It had to be something toxic going on for them to want to separate them like this. Now, I want to show you guys this video just to add to my point because these are the type of relationships that'll make somebody want to separate y'all and feel like, oh, something going on. We got to separate them because it takes a lot for hotel to intervene in your business like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly.
Of stabbing her boyfriend to death. Back in the courtroom today, a judge denying Courtney Clenny's release on bond while she awaits trial.
NBC 6's Shanae Amara is joining us live from court. Shanae, what have they said so far?
Yeah, you know, that ruling came down just minutes ago, and a lot of back and forth inside the courtroom from the defense team as the judge denied allowing release or allowing bond for Courtney Clenny as she awaits that murder trial. But let's go to some video.
Turning now to the OnlyFans model accused of stabbing her boyfriend to death. Back in the courtroom today, a judge denying Courtney Clenny's release on bond while she awaits trial.
NBC 6's Shanae Amara is joining us live from court. Shanae, what have they said so far?
Yeah, you know, that ruling came down just minutes ago, and a lot of back and forth inside the courtroom from the defense team as the judge denied allowing release or allowing bond for Courtney Clenny as she awaits that murder trial. But let's go to some video because I want to give you a visual look at exactly what happened inside the courtroom. Now, a big issue here for the judge, whether there is a flight risk for that OnlyFans model accused of murdering her boyfriend. The judge ultimately siding with prosecutors denying her release as she awaits trial for the killing of Christian Obumseli. Clenny came out just before 11 this morning, cuffed in her red jumpsuit. She sat and spoke with attorneys ahead of the hearing, wiping back tears as families on both sides, her family and the Obumselis, waited in the gallery for the hearing to begin. The judge cited concerns, including the possibility of a flight risk in her denial of bond, which Clenny's defense objected to, arguing that she doesn't have the money to be a flight risk. But on the other side, the family attorney representing the Obumseli says they are satisfied by this ruling.
The evidence was clear that she has no money left in her bank accounts. Part of it was used to purchase a home, which is not a liquid asset. Measures could be taken to secure that property with a bond. Her OnlyFans contract was canceled immediately back in April. She does not have the ability to make these monies, as the state alleged. And as the judge unfortunately adopted their view, we think that's incorrect.
There was a video, y'all, okay? I was showing you that, but I wanted to show you the picture of the elevator fight because there was a video that showed that you hear an audio of her using racial slurs against her boyfriend, okay? Let me go ahead and play that for y'all. Hold on, you guys. Go ahead and take a listen.
Get off of me! You literally get off of me! You literally talked to her without telling me!
Just months before she stabbed her boyfriend, OnlyFans model Courtney Clenny called him a string of racial slurs.
Yes, thank you. Coming from Georgia, thank you.
The newly released and disturbing audio was recorded by Christian Obumseli, who was later stabbed by Clenny and died as a result of his injuries.
I am so sorry. So shut up and let me slap you.
The recording captures an argument between the couple about someone Obumseli ran into while on a bike ride.
Get off of me! You literally talked to her without telling me!
Courtney, I was on a bike ride and she passed me and I said, hi, you and Courtney are having a live chat. My bad, I forgot to tell you that. That doesn't make you to act and call me a
The audio of this argument was recorded just months before Obumseli was stabbed on April 3rd.
Baby, I'm so sorry.
In Clenny's 911 call, Obumseli can be heard saying he can't feel his arm and believes he's going to die.
I'm gonna die, I can't feel my arm. 3101. I can't feel my arm.
4 months after Obumseli died, Clenny was charged with second-degree murder in his death. Since then, body camera video of a separate domestic incident was released. It took place just days before Obumseli's death. At the time, Clenny told officers she wanted a restraining order against him.
All right. So what do you want to say?
I want to be like, I want to be like exonerated, I guess, of like anything wrong. And I want him, okay, the police are here. I want a restraining order against Christian Obumseli.
We don't issue those.
Because, no, I'm serious.
Courts.
Can I do that?
You have to go to court. You have to go to
Okay, but
downtown.
how can I make myself first? Because I know him and he would do it. How can I make myself first?
You gotta.
Clenny maintains she stabbed Obumseli out of self-defense. Her attorney says the body camera video shows she was seeking help from a, quote, abusive and violent relationship, but that she was failed by the system. Prosecutors say the pair were involved in a combative relationship, but that Obumseli was the victim of domestic abuse. For the latest developments in this story and all things true crime, stay with Law and Crime Network. I'm Sierra Gillespie.
If you've been in a car accident recently, there are 3 mistakes people make that can cost them tens of thousands of dollars. My friend almost made all 3. Click the link below so you don't become mistake number 4 or
Okay, y'all. So y'all heard that. Now that would make hotel staff behavior like that, toxic relationship like that would make the hotel staff step in and separate y'all. So all this that we were seeing, I'm not saying that, it's just allegedly, this is just in my opinion, all that we were seeing is just, it's textbook, y'all. It's textbook. Where you want to look good on Instagram, you put all your best moments and all your happy times, you share them. Look how happy these people look. Look at this. But just below the surface, y'all are staying in a room and they got to separate y'all. This is scary because it really shines a light on social media and real life and what goes on when the camera cuts. Now, I don't know if you guys want to think of this as a case of DV, but it falls right into that trap. And oftentimes your loved ones know a little bit more than, you know what I'm saying, the rest of us. And I think that's another reason why the family has questions. Did he surprise her and ask to be proposed? Did they plan this? And, because I think she's an influencer, she's a model. So she's going to have the cameras rolling. That is not what is out. That doesn't seem like out of the ordinary, right? For an influencer to be filming, recording all of her moments, right? But was this, you know what I'm saying? Did he surprise her? Did she know he was going to propose? Did he surprise her beforehand? And she was like, I'm going to capture it. You know what I'm saying? Because why would you propose to her and then she comes up unalived? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I just know that a lot of us aren't buying this story. We're glad that the investigation is ongoing. I would love to know if he's been questioned. it would have probably been in the latest report that we've seen. But what I'm raising eyebrows about is, and what's raising my eyebrows is that they had an argument. They had to be separated. The hotel staff had to separate them. And they had to go in 2 different rooms. Like, what the F? DB much? And then she's found hanging. And then rushed to the hospital where she was alive when they found her. And she later lost her life at the hospital. I don't know, you guys. We are going to stay up on this. And like I said, I just read you I think the latest from TMZ, right? Let me make sure I don't have anything else. Yeah, I just read you guys the latest from TMZ. But like I said, I'm going to keep you guys updated on this, all right? And what was going on behind closed doors? Because it wasn't just squeaky clean, all happy, happy, joy, joy. Everybody's getting along. No. 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 And like I said, a lot of times it looks different online, on social media. It's 2 different realities. And usually on Mad Day, something happens. And this was Mad Day. Because what? Y'all had to be separated? What was y'all doing? Everything looks so squeaky clean and everybody's so happy and in love. And then behind the scenes, they can't stand each other. Or there's physical, emotional, psychological AB. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times verbal. And that could be worse. Do people think that physical, I mean, it doesn't lessen it or negate it, but the fact that verbal and emotional AB, when you're abused, can be just as hurtful and damaging and toxic and can result in someone losing their life. And I think that what's most important, because when we see like on Instagram couples or social media couples, and a lot of people strive to be and want what they see on social media, when they don't know that behind closed doors, their life is in shambles. They don't know that that woman or that man is living in distress and fear and turmoil. Sometimes the man is AB, right? And evil. I don't know. And the people don't be having no coping skills. Somebody don't got no coping skills because they lashing out, they whooping your ass, they cussing you out. Like, they don't know how to manage emotions or control their behavior a lot of times. It's out of effing control so much that the woman ends up really getting beat, being physically abused. He's calling her out her name. He's putting her down, damaging her self-esteem, really trying to bury her while she's alive. Like, right? A lot of women live through that. And they take the brunt of abuse and they hide it. For example, like you guys remember how Cassie would be physically abused? Like if you have a black eye, they may cover it up with makeup. They may wear sunglasses, kind of like what we saw with Diddy and Cassie, right? A lot of times she would be physically abused and have physical scars from the abuse, and then she would either stay in her hotel room, you know what I'm saying, till it healed up. Or she would put makeup on or wear sunglasses. You know what I'm saying? We're familiar with this dynamic. It's just that social media has made it so easy to buy into what people are selling. And most of the time, they're trying to sell you a fantasy. They're trying to live a fantasy. They're trying to sell themselves a fantasy. They're trying to convince themselves. And I think that's the case, like, just like what we went through with the OnlyFans model. A lot of us try to act like our relationships are so put together and that we're so in love, when in reality, they were each other's worst enemies. Now, I just want to warn, I'm not talking about Ashlee, I'm just putting it out there, like, of what we've seen. You know what I'm saying? Patterns, y'all. Because like I said, I know nothing about this woman. I just found out, just like the rest of y'all. Like I said, I jumped on the bandwagon. I didn't know her, like, oh yeah, Ashlee, oh yeah. No. But that's not what's important right now. And I hope you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, because what? Why in the hell did hotel staff jump in and have to separate y'all? That screams DB to me, y'all. It screams pattern. It screams toxic relationship. It screams what was going on just on the other side of that Instagram post. What was going on just on the other side? Like, some of us wear it well. Some of us do deal with it more than others. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just, want to warn women and bring awareness to it about sleeping with the enemy. And a lot of times, with all this technology and all this advancements and everything that we know now, people still won't vet who they lay with. And what do I mean by that? Well, first off, a background check. For starters, you know what I'm saying? A simple background check will tell you more than you need to know. And then you still have to take it a step further and base your decision on whether you're gonna F with this person or not, based on the information that you've been given. Because sometimes somebody can do a background check and find out some shit and still not even put themselves first and still F with that person. Still become engaged in a relationship with that person, still procreate with that person, still call that person the love of their lives. When the real psychopath, the real sociopath, right? Or just a creep. And a lot of times good people link themselves and tie themselves and find themselves with these demons. Right? I don't know, y'all. You guys let me know what you guys think. I will be back with another video. And when you think about it, you know what I'm saying? When you hook up with somebody for whatever reason it is, right? When it's like intimate, or like I said, it could be for any reason where you'd be alone with this person or develop a relationship with this person. And a lot of times we do that in our own lives. And if you do one night stands, or you be hooking up with people, like, that's what you're doing. You're laying with a stranger. You're hooking up with a stranger. But I think as humans, we be trusting people. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. I mean, you just think about it. If you do a one night stand, that's what you're doing, because you don't even know that person. You don't know that person. You said what? I seen a girl just like her about the same thing. Oh, lie about the same thing. Wow. What's up, Joy? Yeah, y'all. He might have snapped from steroids, testosterone stimulant, who knows? Yeah. Something went horribly wrong, y'all. That's all I got to say. And that man is involved. Something went horribly wrong. I don't know who, what, where, why, when, or where, but something went horribly wrong, and he's involved. Call it what you want. Figure it out how you going to figure it out. But you ain't going to tell me no different. Little did she know being around those lions was safer, than with her man. That's a damn shame. Sleeping with the enemy. Facts. What's up, bossed up Bianca? There's a whole movie called Sleeping with the Enemy, too. But a human life lost in such a manner, that's so sad. Yeah. Yeah, especially these days. That's what I'm saying with technology and all that. Like a simple background check. Like that's worth it. You said Google men are most frequently unalived by other men, often acquaintances or strangers. They're also primarily perpetrators of violence against women. Wow. I know I'm touching on some statistics here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, y'all. Look. I just want to let you guys know it's time to bet. It's time to do background checks. It's time to look into who you plan on laying down with, one night stands, and look, one night stands is out. Hooking up on a first day out. I wouldn't even suggest that. From what we just saw, all these stories I just looked at, and then the possibility of you don't know who you land with, just like it's just too damn dangerous. People are crazy. They have always been crazy, but they are crazier. There's so many people who are more willing to lose their life, to lose their freedom more than ever. When people used to think twice, even 15, 20, 25 years ago, right? I don't know, y'all. You just have to, being that down ass chick is played out. One night stands is played out, right? Just like prostitution, just like organized crime. Because haven't y'all noticed that the ABC boys and the authorities are taking you guys down in groups? I don't know if you figured it out yet or not. Right? No longer one by one. They're doing everything in groups. Right? The RICO Act that allows them to do that. And remember, the RICO Act was created for organized crimes like mobs and cartels, and you know what I'm saying? Now they're using it for everyday gangsters in these ratchet ass streets. And I'm telling you, if ever technology would be used to your advantage, you need to use it. When you're choosing a partner on who to procreate with and who to share your life with, and you need to do it ASAP before you end up DEAD. Now, we will stay up on this story, and I will bring you guys updates as they come in, but this is just a lesson to all y'all, to all of us, okay? Stop drinking the damn Kool-Aid. Don't believe the hype, y'all. Don't believe the hype. Do you see any sad moments? Do you see any stressful moments? No, because they catch all the good moments. They want everything to be perfect. They want everything. They only want to share the happy moments. And that goes across the board. And I think that's this case. And I think behind shit was in shambles. Now, did it start out like a sugar daddy, you know what I'm saying, sort of relationship? Because I've been there too. And then you get married and all this. Not that it matters, but I'm trying to figure it out, like their dynamics. That's it. Because the only thing that matters is to find out the truth of what happened and to put the people that are responsible behind bars. That is the bottom line here. But that doesn't mean that we can't, right, have a conversation about the updated information that we've received that they got into a disagreement, so much so that the hotel staff had to put them in separate rooms. Everything that glitters is not gold. I'm not adding anything or taking anything away. It's simply my opinion based on my perspective, common sense, and experience, and what I see with my eyeballs. Right? You say it's crazy, like on vacation fighting. That's what I'm saying. And fighting, that means this was an ongoing thing. What do I mean by ongoing? A toxic relationship that was masked by this happy, like, and this is common, y'all. It's common. What's not common is that she's no longer here. And I do want to take this time out to send my condolences and positive vibes to Ashlee Robinson's family and friends and anyone who was affected by the loss of this young woman's life. And I just want justice for her. Okay. Now, like I said, I'll keep you guys updated. Let me see what you guys are saying. Yep, a Google search even. Yeah, you know, we have to start doing that. Been verified 100. Yeah. You said that's exactly what it was, Bonet. Yeah. I'm telling y'all, this is not a classic case, but it is following a pattern. And look, I got a little bit, I got street knowledge. I got a lot of street knowledge. I got a lot of book knowledge. And I'm putting it together with life experience. Like, come on now. Now, they never really said how old he is, but he's damn near double her age. Okay? Come on now. And the family knows something. They know something about the dynamics of this relationship. And that's another reason why they are like imploring for answers. She damn near a child compared to him, even though she's 30. If he doubled, like, girl, come on now. And that's her mom, that's her dad, that's her family. Of course she's gonna be, that's their child. I'm pretty sure they weren't even happy with her being with a man that's half double her age. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all. I will be back. We will stay up on this. If there are any updates, I will come back with that. And yeah, y'all. Like I said, I see a pattern. I do see a pattern. Stop drinking that damn Kool-Aid. Stop believing in everything people tell you, and believe in what you see. Just know that fly shit be happening when that camera cut. Okay? Something only the flies on the wall will ever see. And we always have to leave it open with that, y'all. Because some wasn't right. Like I said, they wasn't praying together. It wasn't no peace and harmony and kumbaya. And nah. Something happened where his hotel was like, yeah, we got to put them in separate rooms because something gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And it did happen to her. It kind of makes me upset. How dare you take somebody's life? Like, whoever did this, whatever's going to go on, because everything we're saying is allegedly, like, but I know he has something to do with something. It's just like, come on now. He is involved, and we're going to be waiting for the answers. All right. I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you so much for tapping in. Until next time, America.